screen is visible, right, guys? So in the last session, we have seen how to handle if multiple windows are open. Okay. So for that, we have two methods: get window and window handle and get window handles. So based on the requirement and based on the condition, we have to use for loop and if conditions to retrieve the page we are working on. Okay. And up to this, we have seen. And today, yesterday's doubt, we will first look into that. Okay, yesterday this class name is not working, right? So when we run this, we got some exception, right? So why that exception is happened? Because first I will run this. Close it. So the exception is invalid selector exception. Okay. So why it is not or not value the enter whatever we are send is not entered because so here first I will open this page in Chrome. Okay, when I inspect, you can see this is the class name, right? So, but here you can see there is some space between this input text and underscore. Okay, here there is some space present, and then after this also there is some space present. So, sometimes what happen if a class name is having some spaces, what it will do, it will not work. Okay, we cannot say each and every time this is the possible. Okay, so in this case the space is the problem, it is showing error. Okay, so how to use class name here means what you can do, you can just give the first text or last text whatever present, okay, by removing the other things. So when you try running like this it will work. Okay, but there may be some issue. I will show you. First run it. Now it is entered. Okay, because after the open here, after this input text there is some space. So what it is doing, the space present, right? So our driver instance is not able to find the element with this value. Okay, because of the space it is throwing the error. So if you use the input text alone, you can find the text. Okay, you can find that element. But what may happen now, for this password I am opening, you can see both username and password is having the same class name. You can see only the difference is the last 9 and PI. That is the difference between for class name for email text box and class name for password text box. So when you use input text, you can access that element. You can enter the value. But when you use the same class name for password, what it will do, instead of entering the text into password, it will overwrite whatever you have written in the email text box because both is having the same uh, class name. Okay, so here this is the error, but we cannot say like this only each and every time will happen. Okay, so if an element or locator is throwing some error, we need to analyze it and we need to find it, because there may be multiple reasons for a locator is not at all working. Okay, if a locator is not working, there may be multiple reasons for that. Sometimes the element is not at all responsive, or it is not at all binded with the JavaScript, like that it is not working. Okay, some there may be lot of errors. First, we need to analyze and we need to find it why it is not working. Okay, some cases the locator may be deprecated, or that may be an issue. Okay, but in this case, this is the error. The space bit present here, right? So that is the issue causing. So when you remove it, when you use the input text, it will work. Otherwise, you can use the 6L UI. That will also work. Otherwise, what you can do, there is one more method. I'll open selector. It is not present. So in the CSR selector, we have seen one thing, right? Normalize space. I think I have shown that. Normalize space. It's a Java program. Okay. So there is one more method present, normalize space. What that method will do, that method will remove if any additional space is present. Okay, you can use that in CSR. Sorry, you can use that in XPath. So in the XPath, I think I have shown that, right? This method, normalize space present, right? So you can use this as a element locator, okay? If space is the problem, because what this normalized space will do, it will remove any white space present for that particular value, okay? This is this clear now? If a particular element or locator is not working, just try to find the issue, okay? If that is not at all possible, you can skip that locator and then you can use any other locator present in that present for that element, like id, name, link text or partial link text, okay? Or CSR selector or XPath. Most of the time we will use XPath only, because XPath is particularly locating that element using the location, okay? Directly it is finding that element using location instead of class name or email ID, anything. Sorry, ID, name, anything. Okay. Is that clear?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we will move to the next topic. So first I will create one class. We will see the checkboxes we can see today. So we will see example for checkboxes and radio buttons. We will see how to access a checkbox or radio button. Okay. So first what I will do, I will open a website. Yes. So here, this W3 school is for learning purpose. Okay, this website is. So in this website, this page, okay, particularly this page, what it is for now, it is for creating a checkbox. Okay, this is for front end developer some more. Okay, so we are not going to do anything here. What we are going to do, we are going to learn how to check how to select a checkbox and radio buttons. Okay, so a checkbox may be present like this. Okay, so it is like of a square shape and we can select multiple checkboxes here. Okay, so if I want two values to be selected at a time, we can select. Likewise, we can select all the values also. Otherwise, we can unselect also. All the values also we can unselect. Okay, this is possible in checkbox. But radio button will not work like this. Okay, so radio button, we will select only one check radio button at a time, and once it is selected, we cannot unselect it. Okay, so either we have to select another option or we have to select it again. Okay, that's the only possible way in radio button. But checkboxes we can select and unselect again, and we can select multiple values. So in real time, where we will use this now, if we are working in a website where application form or user details are handling, right? In that case, in most of the cases, we will see radio buttons for selecting the gender or uh, like this. Mostly gender selection, we will use radio button. Either we can select male or female and we cannot unselect. Okay, and checkboxes we can use it like we can select for multiple skills. Okay, so that may be an option to select the skills which are all you are which skills you are having. Okay, so we will be having multiple skills and we can select it. Okay, if we have selected one thing wrongly, we can unselect it. Okay, so this is the real-time scenarios where we will use checkboxes and radio buttons. Okay, let's see some program how to check this. Okay, first what I will do, I will create the driver instance. I'm just copying it directly instead of creating one. And then I'm opening that website. Okay, So that website URL, I'm copying it. Press it. So this is the website I'm going to use. Okay, and then what I will do, if you want to select a particular checkbox, okay, so for example, I want to select this two alone, okay, so in that case, what I can do, I just need to inspect this, okay. What you need to inspect now, you have to inspect this checkbox, right? Okay, the square box you have to inspect, not the values, okay. If you inspect the values and try to access that element, that will not work. So for radio button and custom checkbox, you have to inspect that checkbox. Because we are going to click this button, okay. So this box only we are going to click. So you need to inspect this checkbox particularly. Okay, try to inspect this again. So here it is span checkbox. Okay, what I will do, I will use the selector hub. So directly I can use the XPath. Okay, so here the XPath is label normalize span. Okay, this XPath I'm going to use it directly. Relative XPath. Okay, so I will copy it directly from here. Okay. When you click this second option, right, in selector hub, set driver command to append on selectors, what it will do, it will give the whole line. Okay, driver dot find element also included there. You no need to use driver dot find element again. Okay, so you can directly copy everything and paste it here. I will copy it from there. So control A, control C, just copying directly. Okay. So driver dot find element by dot XPath. Okay. So, and then what I will do in this checkbox, we are going to click, right? So what we manually do, if I want to select this two, I will click the mouse, right? So that is what we are going to do. I'm going to click it. So dot click, that method we need to call. Okay. That's not shown by any error. Okay, let's try to store it somewhere. Okay, by is not imported. So I directly copied from there. So it is not present. So dot click. So now what it will do, so this page will be open and particularly we have taken the XPath for that too. Okay, so I just directly copied from the selector hub. So we have seen already selector hub is a tool. You just add it to your Chrome extension. Okay, so it will be useful for finding the locators. Okay, so and then in some cases for freezing the page it will be useful. Okay, and many more things it is useful. As of now, we can use these two things. Okay, so I'm directly copy the XPath from here and then I pasted it and I'm just using the mouse button click. So if you want to select a single value, you can use this. Okay, whatever value you want to click, you just need to find the locator for that element and then you need to use the click button. Okay, click method. So now I have to maximize this page. Okay, let's maximize it next time. Okay, you can see now 2 is selected. By default, 1 is already selected in this website. And here also 1 is selected by default. Okay, these things are already selected. 2 is now selected because we have selected this. Okay, so if you want to deselect this 1, okay, so I want to select only this 2 value, not the 1 value, means what you need to do, you need to just click it again. Okay, So what you have to do, again, you need to find that particular element. Okay. So I'm using here. So I will directly inspect and get the element using selector hub, located by selector hub. Okay. So this is the selector hub for that element. So Control A, Control C. If I click that, but if I click that checkbox again, so what it will do, it will deselect that value. Okay. So by default, one is selected in that website. You can see by default, one is selected. So now what I will do, I'm clicking it again. So once again, if I click, it will be deselected. Okay. Let's try it now. I will close this page. So now one should be deselected and the value of two should be selected. Okay. It may take some time. It is loading. Okay, it is done. You can see now one is unselected and the value for two is selected. Okay. So if you want to deselect some value, what you need to do? You need to find that element and you have to click that again. Okay, that's it. So this is for handling single, if you want to select a single value. Okay. In case if you want to select multiple values. Okay. So for example, I want to select 1, 2, and then 3. Okay. Likewise, if I want to select 3 values means what I can do now, I can use for loop. Okay. But before that, we need to find all the elements. Okay. So driver dot find elements we have to use. What this find elements will do, whatever locator we are using here, right? So that the elements with that locator, okay, what are all the elements having that locator will be find and stored in a list of values. Okay. So this is a list of web element. So it will be stored as a list. So now what I'm going to do, I will find all the elements. Okay. First, we need to find all the elements. So let's, so I'm checking, I'm just selecting the whole thing here. Okay. So inside this, I'm expanding each and every element. Okay. So this is the whole thing I have selected. Okay. You can see I'm selecting the whole thing like this. Like this I'm selecting. So here it is, the starting point is here. Okay. It is the selected way, selected value. So from here only it is starting. So when you expand each and everything present under this, you can find some common locator for this. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So this is the value of 1. This is the value of 2. Okay. And here 3. And here it comes 4, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 values are present now. So all the values having input tag, right? So input is having all the values. Okay. So input tag and check type checkbox. So you can see it is common for all the elements, right? Input type checkbox. And then here also input type checkbox present. Okay. So we can use that. So input is the tag name and type is the attribute. Okay. So we can use CSR selector. Here also you can find it. Okay. So you can use XPath also, but this is particularly for showing single element. Okay. We cannot use selector hub for all the elements. Okay. We need to find the common values. So what I will do, I will use CSR selector here. So because input tag is present and attribute type is present. Okay. So find elements. What I will do, by dot CSR selector we will use. So what CSR selector is present? Input tag present and then attribute value present. So how it should be? Input, that is the tag name. Tag, then we have to use square bracket, right? Square bracket, and then we have to use the attribute. Attribute is type, which is equal to the value we need to give. So value we will copy it here. Checkbox. Okay. And then close the square bracket. Okay. Let's try to find it. Okay. So as of now, we have find all the elements. Okay. Now we need to store this element. We have to store the elements having this input tag and this type of attribute, and then attribute value should be checkbox. So if 5, 6 elements are present, we need to store that elements in a list, right? So here we need to store it in a list of web elements. So list of web elements. It is not showing. Type it. It's not showing. List of web element. Let's give some name. Checkbox. Okay, import. If import is not showing, you can use keyboard shortcut Control Shift O. When you give, it will show suggestion for import. Okay, sometimes it will directly import that particular library, or it will show the options. Okay, when you give Control Shift O, it will show. So for example, I will remove this. Okay, I will remove this import, and if I use Control Shift, Control Shift O, you can see now it is added. I haven't done mouse over here. Okay, I'm just using keyboard shortcut Control Shift O. That is for import. If you want to add import, you can use that shortcut. Okay. So now all the elements which is having this locator is stored in this checkbox as a list. Okay. Now we want to find each and every element. Okay. So we want to iterate to each and every element. Then only we can uh, do some whatever requirement is present, we can do it, right? So for that, we have to use for loop. So for you can use normal for loop also. Okay. So that for loop will also work. Otherwise, we can use enhanced for loop. That will be very simple. So what we are going to do? We are going to iterate through this checkbox. So first I will do this, copy this checkbox. So this checkbox is having all the values. So one by one, I am going to take it from this checkbox and I am going to store it in some variable, right? So that variable I am giving it as, let's name it as box. Okay. So I'm going to iterate each and every value in this checkbox. I'm going to store it one by one in this box. What this data type of this box will be? Web element. So it is also a web element. So that we need to give it here. That's it. So web element box is a colon checkbox. Okay. Then inside this, what we need to do? We are going to click each and every element, right? So let's try with box dot. Let's give click. I'm simply giving click. Let's try whether this is working. Otherwise, we can use index. Okay. If it is working fine, we will leave it. Otherwise, we will use index. Yeah, I have to remove that too. Okay. I just forgot. This website response is very slow. That is why it is taking much time. Okay. Okay. Now it is done. You can see. Okay. What happened? Okay, we have selected this already, so it is deselected again. So what is happening here now? I will show you. You can see we have first selecting the one element. Okay, so what this line will do? This will deselect that particular element. Okay, by default one is already selected. So this line is deselect that one. Okay, and this line, what this line will do? This line will select the two, right? Then now after that what happened, this one value will not be selected and two value will be selected. Okay, like that it will be present. After that we are iterating each and every element and we are clicking. So while this for loop running, right, at the time what happened now, so this one is already deselected, so now it is selected, and uh, this two is already selected, so now it is deselected, and these two are selected. Okay, that has happened. So if I commented this part, it will work fine. Okay, it will work fine. So if you want to click all the elements, you can use this box dot click. Okay, if I don't want to click all the elements, I want to click particularly for an element, means what you can do, inside this you can use box dot get off, sorry, get off the index value you can give. So 5, 4, 3, anything. Okay, so index value, based on the index value you can give dot click. When you give this, what is there, this should be commented, I think. Okay, here this will not work. Understood. So why this get method is showing error means we are not using normal for loop here. Okay, we are using enhanced for loop, and this is working based on the iteration. Each and every value will be iterated here. Okay, so if you want to work particularly on an element, what you need to do, you need to use the normal for loop, like this. For inside this int I is equal to 0, and then I less than equal to this checkbox dot, this checkbox dot size. I will explain you what is this. Okay, and then I plus plus. Inside this, what we will do, checkbox dot get off and index. Okay, get index 2. Let's give 2 dot click. So here what I have done, I have used the normal for loop. Okay. So why I have used normal for loop means if you want to select a particular element based on the index. Okay. So how the index will be working now? So each checkbox will be considered as in uh, like index 0, 1, 2. Okay. So if this is the first element, what is the index value of this element will be 0. Then it will be 1. Then it will be 2, 3. Likewise, it will be gone. Okay, one more thing we need to know here. So this is also checkbox. I think this will also be considered. Okay. So let's, yes. You can see these two checkboxes here, 1 and 2 present, right? Small checkbox. This is also having the same CSS selector, whatever we have given. So input tag type is equal to checkbox. So this will also be considered. So how the index will be working now in our code, this one will have index 0. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like this index will be going. Okay. So here, this enhanced for loop, it will be used when you want to select or deselect all the elements. Okay. So if you want to work particularly on an element, you have to go for a normal for loop, because this will be working based on the numbers in index values. Okay. So first what we have done, we are declaring one variable. That variable should starting value is 0. So the index starting value is 0. Okay. And the value should be less than the checkbox size. If checkbox is having 6 values, this I value should be less than 6 only. Okay. And then we are incrementing. If first what it will do, it will that I0, right? So first 0 value will get into the for loop. Okay. And it will check. If we are giving get of 0 dot click, it will click. And then again the for loop will go. Now the index value will be 1. It will come here. It will click it again. It will go. Likewise, it will be going until the checkbox type dot size is reached. Okay. So if the checkbox size is 5, once 5 is reached, it will come inside. Again, when it goes for here, now the value will be 6. So at the time, it will come out of the for loop, because the for loop is false, right? So it will come out of the for loop. Let's try to run this now. I will command these things. Okay. So as of now, I haven't done anything. Okay. So we are giving index value of 2, right? So this is 0. This is 1. So this is 2. So one value should be deselected now. Let's try. Let's take much time. Okay. Meanwhile, we can see radio button. Okay. So radio button will also work in the same manner. Okay. So if you want to select all the elements, you have to use for loop like this. Okay. Enhanced for loop, and then you can click. And then you have to find particular element. Okay. Which one is the last one, right? Okay, now you can see all the elements are deselected, because we have given index of 2 should be removed. Okay. So index of 2 should be clicked. This is the value index of 2. So it is clicked again. So it is gone. Okay. So from here, this is also considered. This is also checkbox. Whatever locator we have used, that is applicable for this 2 also. Okay. That is why it is considered. So if we have selected some locator, which is particularly for this 4 elements, it will not be considered. Okay. I will close all this. So radio button will also work in the same manner. Okay. First, you need to find that element. Okay. You have to inspect this radio button, particularly for this radio button. And then you have to use any locator. Okay. So you will do it as an assignment for the radio button. Okay. You need to just click that. Okay. You have to click that. That's it. Okay. That will click that radio button. That will select the radio button. And one more option for radio button is you can check, okay, whether a particular radio button is selected or not. Okay. For example, this one is selected as of now. Okay. We can see whether this is selected or not. Okay. Let's try with something. What I will do, driver dot find element. Okay. I will get it directly from the selector hub, right? So let's try with 1. Okay. So I'm going to inspect this one. So the selector hub is, sorry, relative XPath I'm using. And this dot is selected, I'm going to use. Okay. Yes, displayed is enabled is selected. Okay. This will return Boolean value. You can see Boolean value means true or false, it will return. okay, is selected. So this is one value. Again, one more thing I am going to check. Okay. So for this, true should be written, and let's consider 3. For 3, it should return false. Okay. Let's save this two values in some variable so that we can see. Okay. We can print and see. So what is this? This is a web element only, right? So, okay, no, this is not a web element. The last method is Boolean. So the return type should be Boolean. Okay. So Boolean. You can find the return type from the method whichever present last. Okay. Method radio one. I will give it like this. Okay. And then for this, three. So what I will do, I will print it both the values so that we can see. Okay. What is the output? This out radio one.
But attribute value is having one.
Sorry.
The attribute value for its
Yes.
content. Radio 3.
Okay, I have copied the same value. Okay, okay. It's radio 3, right? So now the value will return true and false. Once it is false, I will click that button. Uh, so it will be selected. Okay, so same thing, driver dot find. I will just copy directly from here. Dot link. So let's try to run this. Okay, it is taking time. So meanwhile, I will create a class. So the next topic we are going to see is the first one is also false. Why? But it is selected, right? Okay. Maybe it is unselected. Did we click anywhere? By default, it is not selected. Okay. This should return true. Let's comment this part as of now. So the third three is working fine. Okay. So first it is not selected. So it is returning false. And then it is selected. Okay. But the one is not working properly. We'll see why. So what I will do first, I will use the first radio button itself. Okay. Instead of this selected, I will try to instead of selected, I try to click it. Okay. It is selected, so it should return true by default. Or it is like this. Is the expert same for checkbox enable normalize space one span? Okay. Let's try to inspect this. I'm inspecting in the automation page. Okay. Okay. It will not work. Let's inspect it. It is loading. We will try to click it. I will store it in some web element variable. We cannot store, right? It is a click method, right? So what I will do, I will remove everything. So what this will do, this will click that button. Okay. So let's try it and then we will so in this I'm clicking it. Okay. So after that I'm trying to um, find the status of that element. Okay. Let's try it. What it is returned. By default, these two are selected, right? So it should return true. I'm inspecting this. Okay. Okay, I will check this, guys. Okay, it should return true first. Okay, now it is returning false again also. Maybe there is some issue with that. Okay, I will check that and let you know. Okay, so but it should return true because it is selected, right? So let's try with the third one. My space. Okay, so what I will do first, I will click this and then I will try to run it. Okay, so instead of that, I'm going to click the radio button 3. Okay, so by default, the third radio button is not selected. So we are going to select it and we will see. Okay, if this is working fine, I will check with the radio button one. Again, returning false, but it is selected. Okay. Maybe I am wrong. Okay, I will check this radio button, the status method alone. Okay, is selected. I will check that and let you know, guys. But if you want to click it, you have to use the same click method only. Okay, only one radio button alone, we can click it at a time. Okay. Instead of is selected, is there any doubt here, guys? In checkbox handling or in clicking the radio button?
Yeah, no.
Then we will wind up today's session now itself, guys. So we will continue tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. I will check that why that website is not working properly. Okay, but e-selected method will work on that based on that condition only. Okay, if that particular element is selected, it should return true. If that element is not selected, it should return false. Okay, I will check that and let you know why it is not working properly. Okay, maybe we have used a wrong selector, wrong locator or anything. Okay, I will check it, guys. Okay, thank you, guys.